So, how was that? After many years of waiting, Kris is finally getting a major revamp to their sprites and their moveset. I'm sorry for fans who are hoping for just new sprites, but I figure that if I'm remaking the character, then I should just revamp their design overall to bring them more in line with Rival's design philosophy. For fans of the original is a separate download that will remain available. I have no plans to add an alternative mode that lets you play like classic Kris, as I just don't find their design all that enjoyable nowadays. I hope you can understand. You might have also noticed a lack of Lancer in that trailer too. Unfortunately, while the world of Aether is a dark world, I was worried Lancer would turn to stone, so I opted to remove him from the moveset. With all that being said, let's get into the new Kris. When creating Kris DE, I initially went in with the mindset of just doing new sprites. However, I decided to change my focus and make them stand out far more as a character within Rivals of Aether. Rather than being a character with a meter, specials with no real references to the game, and a move that created a running joke about poor design, I wanted to make a character who felt more fleshed out rather than slapped together. So while a lot of their core is still there, Kris deviates from the original design heavily to create a brand new experience for new and old fans. There were a couple of main points that led to this change in direction, however. 1. Kris's old design not only felt dated, but out of place within Rivals of Aether. When designing the first version of Kris, I just wanted to make a platform fighter character without any real intention of fitting into Rivals of Aether. Their sprites were crude, their gimmick was underdeveloped, and they felt more at home in a game like Super Smash Bros. Than Rivals of Aether. To mend this, I looked at what made Rivals unique, which we'll get into a bit later. But this means they now have stage control and a unique state they are put in. This makes them far more dynamic to play as and against. Number 2. I wanted thematic ties to Deltarune. One of the biggest gripes I had with the old version of Kris was that they just didn't feel like Kris. They were essentially just Cloud Strife and Hero combined. They lacked a unique identity that set them apart, and they didn't feel like they were anything related to Deltarune. Finally, number 3, I wanted to make the Summon Strongs have a purpose. I like having references to the party within Deltarune, though it does detract from Kris as a character. While some certainly are outspoken about this component, I feel like including it is necessary to keep a bit of the old design together, and also because I do think it is actually important to Deltarune's whole philosophy, which is what led me to the biggest change for Kris. You may have noticed the lack of a TP meter for Kris. This is because of Kris's new gimmick, Soul. Soul can be placed with either neutral special, forward special, or down special. Thank God we finally know what down special does. Once placed, Kris gains access to a stage control tool that they can activate with neutral special. While your Soul is out, opponents can attack it to deal damage to you and disable it, so be careful where you place it. During the Soulless mode, Kris's strongs and specials are all changed. Much like in the game, without the soul, Kris is a different person. The summons no longer appear during your strongs, just like Kris ensures you aren't able to interact with their friends. So while all their new strongs lack range, they are made up for by giving Kris new movement tools with forward special and less laggy strong. To regain your soul, simply use down special to recall it back. With this new gimmick, it covered all 3 of my gripes with Kris's initial design. No longer are they a stale character, they're now far more dynamic and allow for further player expression. They have stage control and a unique state, a thematic tie to Deltarune and Kris as a character, and give purpose to the strongs. Overall, I feel like this actually made the design better and improved the overall game feel for the character, making them feel far more in line with what Rivals of Aether is going for, rather than just being a bland Super Smash Bros. Character that I wanted to throw together because I wanted to make something. I know this was a bit short, but I at least wanted to explain my design philosophy when going in and making this new updated for Kris. It was a massive task ahead of me, given how beloved Kris is as a character within Rivals of Aether Workshop. So I wanted to make sure that I do them justice, not only for myself as a designer, but also for those of you that were waiting so long for this update, that have been asking for a new Kris to come along. And hey, if you don't like this version of Kris, there's always the old version of Kris. And also, I hear that there's another Kris in the development cycle for Rivals of Aether Workshop. So, if my interpretation of Kris isn't for you, surely someone's version of Kris is what you're looking for. But for those of you who have stuck around and were excited to support me and to continue supporting the work that I do, I just want to thank you all for being on this journey with me. Workshop was a hobby of mine when it first dropped, and while I work slowly and may not share the same vision for Workshop as many others, I had a lot of fun making these characters. I've met so many wonderful people and made so many great friends along this journey, creating something that I just wanted to do for fun. It's all a part of my life story now, and I will be closing this chapter of my life, at least for now. This update will be the final major release I do for Rivals of Aether Workshop, and we'll see what happens with Rivals of Aether 2 when Workshop finally comes out for that. I have other projects and ideas I wish to chase, and I hope that you come to chase them with me, or at least spectate from the side. It didn't matter if you loved my work, if you hated my work. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for helping me meet some amazing people who have become good friends of mine. Thank you for helping me grow as a creator and a person. Thank you for expanding my love for this indie franchise and allowing me to get opportunities I never even thought I'd get. Seriously, thank you, Rivals of Aether community. Thank you, Rivals of Aether Workshop.